Well, my coffee got done. So, yeah, you got the narcs that are bugging the children up, and then you got the narcs that are so dangerous they might kill you or like permanently maim you. If you try to get help from the law, those are the two scenarios that are just so fucked up. I have a friend actually whose uncle shot and killed his son. Maybe his wife too. Might have killed his wife, and as the son was running out the door, I think he turned around and said, "No, Daddy, please don't," and he shot him right in the chest, dead. You know, he probably didn't kill the wife because he wanted the wife to suffer watching her son die. Like, this is how insane it gets, and people are like, well, how did it get that bad? Well, that was her fault. She should have left a long time ago. Really? Ha! We might have avoided this moment altogether, but something went terribly wrong in the narc's mind. Okay? What happens is they realize even if you don't tell them that you know, or you attempt to not change your behavior around them, they can feel that you know what they are. And then the abuse amps up big time, the threats, because they must get you back under control. He killed his son. I'll have to ask her about the details again. I'll come back to you and tell you about it. Absolutely horrifying. When I was in the middle of my custody battle, I was starving to a degree. I was eating food, what they said, but I didn't have any knowledge about what real food was back then, and I was eating out of the dollar store because I couldn't afford. So I was basically eating wheat, just bread and bread and bread and bread and cookies and bread and crackers and bread, and because I was so poor because of the custody battle, the thousands and thousands of dollars that went into the lawyers and the court and everything. So I do think that played a huge part in my ability to cope or think or do anything. What was my point? Oh, hold on. Let me pause. I don't know what my point was. Well, I lost my point, but I could not think properly without the proper food, and which added to the whole problem, which added to my emotional weakness about the whole scenario. I really don't know what my point was, but I lost it because I'm menopausal. I don't know. We're not in the best frame of mind when we're dealing with this stuff. When there's danger, wasn't strong enough to hide the fact that I knew what was going on. But see, I didn't back then. I did not know what was going on. And I think you begin to realize that the person never loved you or they don't know how to love or whatever, but you don't understand the whole narcissist thing. But see, when then you actually start approaching them with it, and they're like, but the bells are going off in their fucking psycho heads. And then they really get wild on you. So this is the thing. Trying to discuss what you're realizing about them is the absolute worst idea you can imagine. You do everything you can to not let on that you are aware. I mean, you gotta be like, you gotta bring out your Emmy award-winning performance that you do not know that they're a fucking monster that doesn't love you. And it's really hard because you live with them and stuff. People just don't realize that this is the whole family thing. It's one thing if it's somebody at work, a coworker, but you know what? They can ruin your life too. They can ruin your job. They can ruin your career. People just don't grasp how serious this is and how convincing they are to those around them. And the enablers and flying monkeys are so intensely ignorant. I've been an enabler to a large degree with a lot of people around me, but I don't recall ever being an actual flying monkey, because I'm not one to shame anyone for anything that they're doing at all. I'm just like, because I feel like a whole bunch of inappropriate shame was placed on me, and I hated it. I mean, it was just like, ugh. It was such a weight to bear. It was unbelievable. So I'm like, no, I don't shame people. Like, if you want to break up with your wife or your boyfriend or your husband, I'm not like, oh, come on, you don't want to do that. Come on, man, they're really nice. I don't recall ever saying anything like that to anybody. So, I could be wrong. It could be that somebody could come to me later on down the road and be like, Karen, you know what? You were a total flying monkey for this bitch. You said this and this and I'd have been like, if I did it, I'd be like, oh I'm so sorry, I didn't know, but I honestly don't recall it. Now, enabling my own narcissist to continue abusing me, yes, absolutely, no doubt about it, because I'm a Christian. Yeah. And they knew that. I wasn't a good one. I wasn't a good one. And what I mean by good one is one that looks a certain way, dresses a certain way, meets with the Lord every morning for their quiet time and their scripture reading and their prayer time, and every night, and and goes to church every Sunday morning, night, and Wednesday night, and has in the choir and all these things. Private Bible studies during the week with their whatever groups. I didn't look like that. At times I did. I look like that sometimes. I fit the mold sometimes. But I was heartfelt, really wanted to cut the world a break because I thought the world was in my shoes that I'd been in. It's so interesting how the brain works. It's like, everybody feels like I do, right? They're getting shit on and everything, and they need to be loved and understood, and they need to be built up, and let me help you with that, and you're so important, let me cut your hair. It would look so nice like this. Oh, no, you don't got to pay me. That's fine. I mean, you know what? I'll give you a ride to that job interview. Come on, man, let's go get you a job. Yeah, that's what they do. And they're like, oh, they catch right onto that. Karen will take me. Karen doesn't mind. And I honestly don't until you start talking shit to me. Little rude remarks. I mean, if you accept my no, I can't do it that day, we got to do it another day, and you're like, oh, okay, that's fine, yeah. If you are a nice narcissist, you could have ran me for years, and some did. Years they had me going. It's okay, though, now. I told him, why didn't you stand up for me? I said to this guy last summer, and he said, I have a different view of the truth, Karen. You're a bugging bitch, Karen. This dude went off in text to me at 6 o'clock in the morning. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. My arms went numb. My hands were numb. I could not breathe. I was like, I could not believe the things that this person was saying to me, who I had loved for many years. Did all kinds of stuff for this oh my word. Said that I was going to Delaware to run a personal whorehouse while Lenny wasn't there. That I had a stream of men coming into the house to service them while my husband stayed in Glen Burnie and worked his ass off for me, quote unquote, or whatever he said. And I'm like, what? Lenny almost blew his top. He almost jumped in the car and walked into this person's house, drove over and went and ripped this person out of bed out into the street and beat the living shit out of him. And Lenny's not violent. Lenny keeps it. And I said, hold up. Don't you move. I want to tell you right now, I will never speak to this person again as long as I live. He said, you promised me you will never speak to him again as long as he lives, or we're going to have a problem. And I said, no problem. And I have since never said one single word to this mother. But that's because our son was grown. But anyway, because then, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what? You people, creatures, anyway, folks do not understand who have not been through it. They do not understand that once the narc has taken you so far, you cannot set a boundary. Well, you can, but then this is going to happen. Catastrophic fallout will happen. You must be willing to accept it. It is entirely possible that my son would have said, you know what, Mom? Can't deal with you. I know you didn't do anything that bad, or I think you did do something that bad, and fuck you, and go off with the guy. My son was trapped. He looked at the text, and he said, he's lost his mind completely. I'm sorry, Mom. And then later I found out, he had told his father, hey, I don't think mom's ever going to speak to you ever again. And then I didn't. Now, 11 months later, after this grown 60-some-year-old man threw tantrum after tantrum, had somebody come get him, ride him across the country, caravanning him across the country because he's so sick. Almost dies of the Rona. Over the winter. It was harrowing. His whole family is just like, what this guy's doing to him. Meanwhile, my son's observing this whole thing like, I thought we were going to go to the Chicago area and start a new life with our extended family. Meanwhile, he gets to watch this debacle just unfold in front of him. The guy was so crazy. He's 60-some-year-old man running around town, ripping IVs out of his arm. They're trying to kill me. Running out of the hospital, which I don't blame him for that. I thought that's the smartest thing he ever did, was run out of the hospital against medical advice. Go, Dad. But anyway, then the family was so pissed, like, he can't come home. Then some ex-husband of his sister said, all right, you can come to my house for a week, but that's it. You got to get your shit together after that. Something like that. So he went to stay at his ex-brother-in-law's house for a week. Apparently hit bottom at that house, bounced enough to come and speak reasonably to his sister, who let him move back into the house. And about 3 months later, suddenly the guy, after not being catered to, all he was given was a roof over his head and told to get his shit together. Stop fucking throwing fits, bitch. And he finally decided to get up, put some clothes on, go down to the building, get some Social Security for himself, which they gave him $10,000 in back pay, and then started giving him over $1,000 a month to get the fuck out of their faces. And he's like, then gets a ride over to the MVA and gets my son's card tagged and back on the fucking road with insurance. And I'm like, I told y'all kids that he can do it. Everybody's like, feel sorry for him, Mom, even my other kids. And I'm just like, that's not even your dad. And they're like, I know, but we love him. I know, that's how good he is. That's how good this guy is at garnering empathy and sympathy. In the name of Jesus. Oh, yes, he played the Christian card hard. Oh, he was, he's a hard believer in Jesus. Hard believer in Jesus. Hard, but he doesn't go to church. But suddenly he's riding down the road, man. In the car, he was supposed to have been dead, but he pitched fits until almost to the point of death. And when people didn't respond the way he wanted, he's like, decided to take a couple deep breaths, bring his oxygen levels back up, and go get on Social Security, put a car back on the road, and then we got to drive back to the Baltimore area where we started, where I threw the big fit and made you give everything away and throw everything away that you own, son. And now you can start with nothing. But we still have the car, but now it's in my name. You go, Dad, go, Daddy. GoDaddy.com. It'll be an interesting summer. I cannot wait to see my son. I can't wait to hug him and fix his hair because they made him chop his hair off while he was there. Oh, man, I love these dudes. And I love this old man. And why do I love him? He has done and said horrific things about me. I can't help it, man. I see the child, the broken one. I'm like, man, if I could just re-raise little dad, maybe it would be. I can't. Nobody can. I'm trying to re-raise myself. So we got our own selves to re-raise. Let's do it. All right, we can do it, but we gotta expect pain and to watch children be in pain. There's no way around it. So good luck, everyone. Peace out, YouTube. Have a great day.